Most people hear the phrase Strait of Hormuz in the news and think of it as just another shipping route. But in reality, this narrow waterway is one of the most strategically important choke points on Earth. Nearly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this single corridor every day. So when tensions escalate in this region, the consequences are felt far beyond the Middle East, affecting global trade, energy prices, and international shipping. Recently, following escalating conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States, reports began circulating that Iran had effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz. But what is actually happening there right now? Are ships really under attack? Is the strait fully blocked, or is the reality more complicated? In this video, Sea Lane Analysis takes a closer look at the situation unfolding in the Strait of Hormuz, separating rumors from facts and explaining what it means for global shipping and energy markets. And if you enjoy deep dive explanations about global maritime events and how they impact shipping around the world, consider liking the video and subscribing to Sea Lane Analysis. It helps the channel grow and allows us to keep producing these detailed analyses. Now let's break down what's really happening. After the recent military strikes on Iranian territory, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, reportedly began broadcasting warnings over maritime VHF radio channels. These broadcasts warned that no foreign vessels should attempt to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, and that any ship attempting to do so would do so at its own risk. As soon as these warnings started circulating, the shipping industry reacted quickly. A large number of vessels that were already inside the Persian Gulf began attempting to exit the region immediately. The result was a sudden surge of traffic as ships tried to leave before the situation escalated further. At first, however, many operators did not take the warnings very seriously. Several vessels still attempted to pass through the strait, despite the broadcast warnings. Some even managed to cross successfully. But the situation changed dramatically when actual attacks began being reported. To understand what is happening, it's important to distinguish between two types of maritime blockades. A soft blockade involves warnings, threats, or limited enforcement intended to discourage ships from passing through an area. Ships may still technically pass, but the risk becomes extremely high. A hard blockade physically blocks the waterway. This can involve sinking ships or placing obstacles that completely prevent passage, as has happened historically in places like the Suez Canal. At the moment, the Strait of Hormuz appears to be experiencing a soft blockade rather than a hard one. Ships are being warned not to pass, and some attacks have occurred, but the waterway itself has not been physically blocked. This distinction is important. A full hard blockade would likely cause severe economic consequences, even for Iran, which is why the situation currently appears to be limited to a soft blockade. Interestingly, the strait is not completely closed. Maritime tracking systems such as AIS and marine traffic still show some ships moving through the region. However, these vessels appear to fall into very specific categories. Most ships still passing are reported to be either Iranian vessels, Chinese-linked ships, or other vessels with special permissions. International vessels are largely avoiding the route due to safety concerns. Once reports of attacks began circulating, marine insurance companies reacted immediately. Insurance premiums for ships entering the region reportedly increased by 500% or more. In some cases, insurers even refused to provide coverage altogether for vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. This created a major problem for shipping companies. If a vessel is uninsured, any damage could result in massive financial losses. As a result, many companies simply decided not to send their ships into the region at all. Within just a few days, the effects became visible across the region. Approximately 84 to 85% of normal shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has slowed or stopped. According to maritime tracking estimates, around 700 ships are currently idling in the region. Roughly 200 vessels remain inside the Persian Gulf. Nearly 500 ships are waiting outside the strait. These ships are either drifting while waiting for safe passage or anchored in place until the situation improves. Among the ships trapped inside the Gulf are dozens of VLCC oil tankers. A single VLCC can carry around 2 million barrels of crude oil, meaning millions of barrels of oil are currently stuck waiting for export. Several maritime incidents have also been reported during this period. According to available reports, 5 vessels have experienced attacks or damage in connection with the tensions. Some ships were reportedly targeted while attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Others were damaged near ports or anchorage areas. Incidents included drone strikes, unmanned explosive boats, fires on board vessels, injuries among crew members. While some ships were able to continue their voyages after emergency responses, the attacks significantly increased fear within the shipping community. Even though the disruption has lasted only a few days, the global economic impact has already begun to appear. Oil prices rising. Brent crude prices reportedly increased by 10 to 13% within days of the crisis escalating. This rise occurred even though no major supply shortage had yet developed. Gas prices surge. The biggest impact so far has been seen in natural gas markets. European LNG prices have reportedly surged by more than 50%, largely due to concerns over supply disruptions. Qatar, one of the world's largest LNG exporters, relies heavily on routes connected to the Strait of Hormuz. Any disruption in these shipping lanes immediately sends shockwaves through global energy markets. Some infrastructure in the region has also experienced disruptions. Reports suggest damage or operational interruptions at several energy terminals, including Qatar, LNG, export facilities, Saudi Aramco terminals, Fujairah oil tanker terminals. In some cases, drone debris or related incidents forced temporary suspension of operations. These disruptions further increase uncertainty in global energy markets. Right now, the Strait of Hormuz has not been completely closed, but the situation remains extremely volatile. With hundreds of ships waiting, insurance costs skyrocketing, and several reported attacks, the maritime industry is already feeling the pressure. And if tensions continue to escalate, the ripple effects could impact global trade, energy markets, and international shipping for months to come. Because when a narrow stretch of water controls such a massive share of the world's energy supply, even small disruptions can send shockwaves across the planet. If you found this breakdown helpful, like the video, share it with someone interested in global shipping or geopolitics, and subscribe to Sea Lane Analysis for more in-depth maritime insights.